So tell me, Steve, if you were HRC right now, would you be regretting your decision to demote Alex Marquez before you'd even seen him race?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, and I would also be staring at Paul Espargaro like, come on, son.
Yeah, you're like, you've got some big boots to fill now, mate. Get on with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, if I was HRC, I would be ruining that decision at the minute. I think they, I've said it several times online, I think they definitely jumped the gun, shipping him off to LCR. Well, it's still a Honda, he's still an HRC, but...
And it's still a factory Honda, to be fair.
Yeah, it's not going to be a million miles away, but he's starting to look pretty damn good.
He is starting to look really good, isn't he?
Yeah. So, yeah, I would be... If I was the person that made that call, I'd be sort of sweating it a bit right now.
Yes, certainly. But we will dive into that more when we get on to talking about Honda. So I'm Tim.
Well,
he's Steve. This is For the Love of MotoGP. Before we start, I think, with the show proper today, we need to throw a quick congratulations out there to a certain Johnny Ray in World Superbikes.
Yes, definitely.
6 championships on the bounce now, defeating countless talent across the way over the last 6 years that he's managed to do it. Obviously, he quite handily disposed of Bautista last year, who came in and won, 11 races on the bounce?
At the start of the season, he looked incredible.
Yeah, it looked unstoppable. And then Johnny Ray just managed to just keep going, consistent, and just crushed him by the end of the year. And this year, Scott Redding went in to take over from Bautista and was kind of expected to come in and challenge Johnny Ray to the line. And I don't know, part of me thinks that was a bit optimistic for everyone to think that a complete rookie to the class was going to come in and beat arguably the greatest world superbike rider that's ever existed. But Scott Redding put up a good fight, I think. But
he did, but early part of the season, he looked really good.
Yeah, and he looked good all the way through. It was him and Johnny Ray were really trading blows for a lot of the year.
Oh, well, we know Redding's staying there next year, so let's see what happens. Now he's got a year under his belt.
Yes, I think he definitely goes into next year with a lot more pressure piled on his shoulders.
Just a bit, but I think he likes the pressure, so... We'll see what happens, but I'll definitely be tuning in a bit more next year.
Yeah, certainly. And let's drop World Superbikes then and onto MotoGP.
Go for it.
So this is our... my notes actually say Mazzano 1 review, so I'm going to delete that and actually type Aragon, because otherwise I'm going to get confused as the day goes on.
Don't say Mazzano 1, you're
right. So this is our... review of the first of the 2 Aragon GPs. And another race where we see another winner in 2020, which means it's been 10 races with 8 different winners.
Aye.
It's bonkers, man. A new guy leading at the top of the championship, a guy that hasn't actually won a race yet this year.
No, he's just been sort of there, doing his thing, looking good. In my dream team.
Yeah, that was a good shout. Well done.
Yeah, he's been there a while, and he's still got that little sign on him, man on fire, rider on fire.
You certainly made a good choice there with him.
Yes, definitely did. But no one seems to want to win it, which is fantastic.
It's a ridiculous year, man.
I'm pretty sure we're going to go into Aragon 2, and we're going to have, I don't know, should we say 5 DNFs? Title leaders all falling, and someone will come along and win it who hasn't won a race before, and we'll suddenly be saying Aprilia's on the top step or something. I don't know. You just can't write it.
So we'll find if we have Mir, Quartararo, Vinales, and Dovi all crashing out of the race, you could comfortably see Franco Morbidelli or Alex Rins or even Jack Miller back in the title fight as well. I wouldn't be surprised this year.
No, not at all. I'm going to make a race prediction now that we're going to see a turn 1 or turn 2 pile up.
Are you going to say who you're going to see in this pile up?
I think it will be about 3 or 4 of the front runners.
Oh, that is a bold call.
That is a bold call, but we've seen it before.
We have seen it before. Have we seen it before in MotoGP? We've seen it this year in MotoGP, haven't we?
Yeah, this year we had, what was it, last year or the year before when Lorenzo...
Oh, Lorenzo wiped out Vinales, Rossi.
A whole host.
And Dovey, didn't he?
Yeah, just went barreling through like Skittles. It's like, here we go.
Yeah, that was probably the most beneficial thing Lorenzo did for Honda in that last year.
Absolutely. He was just like, yep, I'll sort this out somehow.
Yeah, exactly. So I will prove to Alberto Puig that I am worth the money that they're paying me right now.
Yep, hold my beer.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it's just the year's been insane so far. And
it has.
And we've got another 4 rounds to go, and it's still anyone's game. The championship can still... I mean, it's still 4 guys in the hunt, and I look at the names, and I can't see which one is going to do it. Johan Mir is the only one that looks like he wants it, but he's not won a race. Fabio Quartararo is the only man to win more than 1 race this year. He's won 3, but he's hot or cold, and when he's cold, he's really bloody cold.
He is, yeah, he's frosty. And the same with Vinales.
Yes,
have
exactly
a good day.
The same.
I'm absolutely certain, come this weekend, he's probably going to be mid-pack. Because that is just how he seems to roll. He's like, I'm going to have a great weekend. Next weekend, maybe not so much.
Mm.
And it's just how he seems to flow. Dovey as well. Just can't see him pulling it together.
I just don't feel like Dovey and Ducati have really switched it on this year at all.
No, definitely not. And that just leaves for me Mir.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? And he could win the title. I cannot believe that we're legitimately discussing the idea of someone winning the MotoGP title without ever winning a race. But that could happen this year.
If he does it, it will be a sensation. It will be absolutely fantastic. But he's on par for it. All he's got to do, if he has another second place this weekend, spoiler there for you people, just... fucking hell, I don't know what to say. He just needs to keep doing what he's doing, and he'll have it.
That's it. If he finishes second this weekend, he finished third in the past race, so it wasn't a spoiler. Yeah, but if he finishes second at the next Aragon race, no matter what happens, he's still leading the title.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun. I actually think that next week is his win. I think Suzuki have now got the data from their win. He knows he'll have looked over Rins's data, so he's going to know what he did wrong. And as long as he can qualify, I think it's going to be his win.
Oh, absolutely. My only fear is he keeps his head together if he does get a real sniff of the win, if he's in second place, and just doesn't push too hard and make a mistake.
I don't think he will. I think we've seen this year that he knows what he's doing.
That's my only fear. As soon as he gets a little sniff of that, that win, I just be sensible and hold it together.
Yeah.
Take the 20 points. Don't go for those extra 5.
Yeah, I think he'll just take the 20 points. I think that's what we've seen.
I hope so.
Let's dive into a couple of bits before we actually get on to talking about the teams. We've already started talking about the teams, but let's try and rewind it to the start of the show. Firstly, I think we need to say that we were wrong last week, Steve. We were both convinced that virtual fan wall, the bane of my existence right now, we were both pretty convinced they were going to put that up on that really nice stone wall of Aragon.
Yep.
And they didn't, which I'm very glad of, because I like looking at that stone wall, and the virtual fan wall would have angered me.
Yes, I like looking at that wall. They put it on turn 5 or 6.
They put it somewhere, and it felt a little less intrusive, and it wasn't there better every lap, so it didn't fill me with that rage that just made me want to turn off the race. It really winds me up. I don't think there's any need for it, but that's real first world problems going on there, isn't it?
There is some real, we've got issues if all we're worried about is a virtual fan wall.
Yeah, exactly. My life's going pretty well at this point, so I need to find something to be angry about. Something to be angry about that I'm allowed to talk about on the podcast.
if you want something to make you angry, you're more than welcome to this cold.
Yes, you're cold. Yeah, we should probably let the listeners know that you're pretty dosed up at the moment on some quite heavy painkillers because you're a little bit poorly. Not with the COVID, but...
Not with the COVID. I've been tested.
Yeah, but you are quite poorly, so you are a bit dosed up. So if you just start snoring, then that's why.
Just carry on without me.
Yeah, if I see you start drooling and falling asleep, I'm just going to carry on and I'll mute you, so it's fine.
I drool anyway, so...
It's just normal behaviour.
Just, yeah. I don't know what I took, actually. Some funky stuff I found in the cupboard.
It's going to be the best kind of night, mate. Just take whatever you can find.
Yeah, I was going to take some of Sarah's pills, but then I realised they're, like, mental.
That would have probably knocked you out good and proper. And then we wouldn't be having this chat, I don't think.
No. The screen's very bright, though. I'm going to have to turn that down.
Oh, no, and so it begins. Anyway, speaking of poorly old men...
The old men.
The one Valentino Rossi out this weekend, and next weekend as well.
Yes, himself a little case of the Rona.
He has indeed caught the COVID-19. Reportedly, absolutely fine. Not really suffering. Was a little bit poorly, which is why he got tested. And then, came back positive. Due to Italian law, it doesn't matter whether he passes the next test as negative. He cannot leave home for 10 days after passing the test. No, after getting a positive test. Yeah. So he will be at home and unable to go to the next round as well.
I heard somewhere that his friend who follows around, Lucio, has got it as well.
Oh, has he really? Is both of them?
Yeah. That wasn't confirmed. I just sort of read it online somewhere that apparently he's got it as well. Because obviously they're like joined at the hip.
Yeah.
So apparently he's got it as well. I don't think he's been around anyone from the academy. So
no, it seemed to say not. And obviously they've all been tested, and everyone else was there. His whole team was there as well, weren't they? So
yeah.
It appears to just be him.
But it shows you, even with like the rigorous protection like the MotoGP guys put in place, you can still pick it up.
Yeah, you can still pick it up. I mean, Tony Arbolino in Moto3, this was a real prime example of it, is he was sat on a plane back from Le Mans next to someone who tested positive.
Yep.
Tony Arbolino has tested negative all the way through, but again, due to Italian law, because he came into contact with someone who has tested positive, he has to isolate for 10 days, so he's out for 2 rounds as well. And he's absolutely fine. He hasn't got it at all.
He's just playing PlayStation. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he's just chilling out, and he's probably loving life. He's probably not loving life, actually. Most of us would be loving life now, and we can't go to our jobs, but we're actually absolutely fine. But these guys are probably a bit pissed about it.
Yeah, if I was a racer, I'd be like, Christ's sake, I just want to go racing.
Yeah, exactly.
When I was at work at the start of the year, the boss came around and went, right, you're going off furlough. I couldn't have got out that door quick enough. I don't want to be here with you infected buggers. See you.
Flicking bird on the way out.
Literally. I was one of the last to go as well. It was really annoying.
Right, shall we dive in then to the actual race?
Let's go for it.
As per usual, we'll just run through things. The first couple of teams, I've not really got a lot to talk about, to be honest.
No, very sedate weekends.
Yeah. Aprilia, we do have a bit of news, though, to be fair. Yes. Aprilia, we know that Andrea Iannone finally had his court appearance with the Court of Arbitration for Sport. He is appealing his 18-month ban. At the same time as him appealing his ban, WADA are appealing the ban because they feel like it's too short. So he's trying to get it overturned completely. They're trying to get it turned from an 18-month ban into a 4-year ban. So that's all been done. The court case has happened. Now we just have to wait till mid-November.
It seems like we've been waiting a long time for this verdict as well.
And why do we now have to wait another month, for fuck's sake?
I don't know. It's probably some Italian thing. They've gone off the coffee.
But it's the thing is, it's the Court of Arbitration for Sport. They're an international body. I think they're based in Switzerland as well, which makes it feel very real, like it should be held at the UN headquarters.
Yeah, I can see them all sat around some big table, like a summit, discussing things, very political and very serious. And yeah, then you get Iannone rock in.
Yeah.
Shirt half undone. Film crew.
Tattoos on show.
Yeah, just like, I want to repeal this. And you can just imagine the Swiss or whoever's there just having a full-bore meltdown.
Yeah.
I'd love to. Yeah, that's obviously not what happened, but...
but it would be nice if it was.
Yeah, that's how I see it in my head. That's my vision of it. Like a NATO summit.
So yeah, now we have to wait till November to find out. And Aprilia now have to wait till November to find out what they're going to do with his seat.
Aye.
So it's going to be a fun one. I think it's already been fun. It's going to continue being fun until the year's up. Anyway, so yeah, Aprilia in general, it's fine. Like, it wasn't a bad weekend. Espargaro did alright, scored some points. Bradley Smith qualified 19th, finished 19th. That's done, really.
The weekend happened.
Yeah, exactly. And I sort of feel the same way about KTM.
Yes, yeah, I thought they'd do well this weekend, but had a very sedate sort of lazy weekend.
Yeah, like Binder qualifying 12th, Binder qualified 14th, Espargaro qualified 12th, Oliveira qualified 18th, and Lecuona 15th. And then they all raced with Binder finishing 11th, Espargaro 12th, Oliveira 16th, and Lecuona 14th. So
yeah, just
nothing really exciting.
It's one of those weird weekends where they're sort of just there. Like, we say it a lot at the minute. They're just there. They're filling grid places and flying around the track. But, like, I saw a tweet that went out from someone that said Bradley Smith thought on the last lap he'd rode the best lap of his life. But because he's not at the front, you just don't get to see it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same. It's just like you say, Bradley Smith, Aprilia, and KTM this week were just there propping up the back of the grid.
Yeah, someone's got to, and they're there. We like it. We like the bike, we like the colour scheme. So
that's it, exactly. And it's going to be interesting next year. Actually, have you seen? I do have something to say about one of the KTM teams. That Tech 3 are losing their Red Bull sponsorship next year.
Are they? I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, apparently so. But apparently the deal they've got with KTM is such a good deal that KTM not only have to supply them with full factory bikes every year, but also have to sort out all of their sponsorship for them.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so even though KTM's title sponsor are pulling out of sponsoring Tech 3, they will still sponsor KTM. But the KTM factory team now has to run around and find a title sponsor for the Tech 3 team.
Well, happy days.
Yeah, so Hervé's probably just sitting there chilling out, being like, won a race this year, got factory bikes, don't even have to find a sponsor.
Just, chill, go on holiday.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what the Tech 3 KTM looks like next year.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I wonder who they'll get.
Oh, it has to be another... it can't be another energy drink manufacturer, can it? Red Bull won't allow that. I can't imagine Tech 3 not being sponsored by an energy drink company.
Trying to think what else there is. Obviously Yamaha, Monster.
Yeah, and that obviously used to be the Tech 3 sponsor. Rockstar used to sponsor Lorenzo, didn't they?
What about Relentless?
Relentless. I don't know if they've ever sponsored a MotoGP team. They might have done like a helmet for a rider or something. But again, it won't be. If Red Bull have got such a huge sponsorship over KTM, I'm sure that they won't be allowed to get another energy drink manufacturer to sponsor Tech 3.
Unless they went down like the supplement road, maybe food-based.
That's it. Oh, unless maybe it will be Red Bull and they'll go full on Alpha Tauri, like the second team in Formula 1 at the moment.
Oh, you might have just hit the nail on the head there, bud.
Yeah, I wonder if that's it, and this is all just smoke and mirrors from Red Bull.
It could be.
But I guess we'll find out, won't we?
We will. Next year, which can't come quick enough.
Well, it can, mate, this season.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, say that. This season one forever.
It's funny, isn't it? Because a lot of years, like, we'll talk about it and we'll be like, oh, I can't wait for next season. We're going to see all these great rider swaps. We're going to see, new teams, new liveries. It's going to be really cool. And we're normally talking about that already. But this year, because it's already so up in the air and we just don't know what's going to... Because Marquez has won it by this time every year, hasn't he, normally? But this year, we're like, what's going to happen? I haven't even put a thought to next year.
Not yet. The only thought I've given it is I hope this virus buggers off and doesn't mess up the start of the year. That's my only fear. We're knocking on the door of November now.
Yeah.
It's not far away. We had the first race in third weekend in March. So, COVID cases are coming back up around the world. I'm just praying that we don't get like a really bad winter of it with a flu season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I'm also not optimistic. So we'll see what happens on that front. But let's move on to Ducati, shall we? Because otherwise, I'm just going to sit here and get sad.
Yeah, let's not do that.
And actually, I think there's plenty of sad Italians this weekend because Ducati were shocking.
They were not good this weekend, were they?
They are really bad. And especially we came into this race, like, Dovi's performed really well here the last few years. It's a really long back straight. You know, it kind of, this track almost screams Ducati, like it's set up for the Ducatis. And yet, they were shit. They were really, really bad. Was any of them in straight off into Q1? Or did they all go through Q2? I think they all went through Q2.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, because Petrucci went up through Q2.
Yeah, sorry, I got my Q1s and Q2s the wrong way around, didn't I? They all were in Q1. No one automatically got into Q2.
Yeah. I don't know. I was watching it on track thinking, well, they're going to come good in a sec.
Yeah, that was me. All the way through. Like, even after Friday, I was like, whoa, fucking, that's been a shocking Friday for them, hasn't it? But, you know, they'll pull something out in FP3. Most of them will be straight into Q2, and then come race day, they'll be on it. But, nah.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing just did not appear. During the race, it just got worse and worse.
Yeah.
You know, I spent the whole time looking at the timing tower, looking at a block of dark red, thinking, what are you doing down there?
Yeah, it was weird. Really weird. So we saw, like, is to be expected, to be fair, the Esponsorama team.
I can't pronounce it, and I've got this cold, I ain't even going to try.
I sound like I've been drinking, but I promise it's just hot chocolate today. Yeah, the Esponsorama team were the lowest of the Ducatis, obviously. Zarco qualifying 16th, Tito Rabat qualifying 20th.
Where the hell has Zarco gone? He showed so much promise over a few races.
Well, he got his Pramac promotion, didn't he? So now he's like, right, I'll chill out and I'll do it all on the Pramac bike next year.
So I'm just going to sit back now and not risk it.
Yeah, that part of me thinks that.
It's certainly what it seems like. You know, he raced good, gets a Pramac deal. Yeah, got what I wanted. See ya.
Although he did do really well in France, didn't he, to be fair, finishing fifth in the wet and lapping 2 seconds faster than everyone else at the end of the race.
Which is insanely quick at the end. I think he gives it his all. It's just, shall we say, the machinery.
Yeah, he's on a year-old bike, and like we've just seen, the Ducatis really sucked around here for some reason.
They did. Just couldn't pull it together this weekend, which is a shame, because like Dovi, I think, was relying on this race.
Well, this whole double header, I think Dovi was relying on to try and pull back his championship. But I mean, I think we said it last week. I'm pretty sure we said it the week before that. It's done. I don't think Dovi's going to do it now. No,
definitely not. I just can't see it. But of all the people in that title contention, you'd have to give him the nod.
Well, we certainly were at the beginning of the year, weren't we?
Yeah. But now, no, definitely not. I wouldn't even consider him, really. Not unless he comes out in Aragon 2 and absolutely blows us all away. But you just can't trust that form to continue on to Valencia.
No, not at all. I mean, we know he's won round Valencia once on the Ducati, and that was that soaking wet race in, was it last year? No, 2018?
2018, I think.
Yeah, a soaking wet race that he managed to win, but yeah, other than that, it's not been great for him at all. We did see a lot of rumours that are starting with Tito Rabat, who it now looks like he might be out next year. He's got a contract for next year, but it's starting to look like he's going to be out, and Luca Marini, Valentino's brother, might be in to that ride. So
that is the sort of current rumour mill that's going around, because we know, although he's got a contract, people aren't shy of cutting and running.
No, we know contracts generally in high-end motorsport aren't really worth the paper they're written on a lot of the time.
No. Sometimes it's just, yeah, you've got a contract, but subject to us finding someone better.
Exactly, there'll be clauses in there. And to be fair, if it's a performance clause, the fact that he qualified 20th and finished 20th in the race, that is probably enough for the team to be like, look, you've been like this all season, mate, just go do something else.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's going to look behind him on the grid and see a lot of people.
Mm.
You know, they must get bored a bit at the back. And we
Yeah.
know they put effort in to make advances. And he's been there a long time. So I think it's probably time for just pack your bags and chill out.
Head off to Superbikes, I think, is probably the plan, and go do something over
that.
there. I'm sure
Yeah.
Ducati can set him up over at Superbikes.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a ride somewhere for him. But just not in MotoGP.
Yeah, that's it. The other satellite team, I guess, for Ducati, the Pramac team, Bagnaia had an awful weekend. Qualified 17th, the only faller in the race as well, the only guy not to finish. So terrible weekend for him. And Jack Miller, pretty much the best Ducati all weekend. Didn't show in the final race results to be so, but he did qualify 5th.
He did. He looked good through qualifying and some of the practice. It was lacking just that little bit of ounce to see it through.
Yeah, that's it. And
Really?
he did race to 9th. Dovi's a good one, isn't he? Qualifying 13th. The man was angry after qualifying. I've never seen Dovi lose his shit like that before.
No. For anyone that hasn't seen it, something happened on track. I can't remember exactly what it is now, but a few moments later, it cuts to Dovi in the pit box, and he is throwing his gloves.
Yeah,
absolutely raging.
What happened was Dovi was looking like he was going to scrape himself out of Q1 and straight into Q2, but Petrucci was following him, and so getting the slipstream, using him as a rabbit, and just managed to pip him at the line and knock him out. So knock him from 12th to 13th, and Petrucci jumped up. Dovi came back into the pit box, saw this, started shouting, throwing his gloves around, storming out the box, and then in the post-qualifying interviews was very vocal about the fact he thought Petrucci had been an idiot. He's like, he's not even challenging for the championship. He's not thinking about me. He's not thinking about the team. I don't know why he's done this to me. He was very unhappy, and it's very unlike Dovi.
I think he probably realises, without a contract signed for next year, this could and very well potentially is his last shot.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So you're gonna be pissed if you could sniff something. Even getting a few, 2 or 3 more places high up the grid, and for your teammate to do that to you in that manner is a bit. Yeah, you'd be pissed off, but it's so un-Dovi, just to go back in the pits. Normally you sort of sit there and smile.
Yeah, that's it. He'd have a little grin. He'd be like, "Oh well, it's a bad one, but maybe next time."
Yeah, press the old cappuccino button again and just
yeah,
carry on.
That's it. But
yeah, raging.
Yeah, he was raging, and I think actually the 7th place in the race that he took was a pretty good recovery, all things considered.
I think so, because considering the form they had for the rest of the weekend, it just, not bad considering. Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it could have been much, much worse. I mean, look at what happened to Petrucci, for example. So Petrucci, who did make it out of Q1, qualified in 8th in Q2, and then raced to 15th, just fell backwards. Like, that was not what you'd expect, and that could have been Dovi's race. I mean, Dovi did, as much as we're saying at the moment, like, Dovi's title hunt is over, he's still within... what is he? He's on 106, 121 is the title lead, so he's only 15 points away from the title, from the lead at the moment. So,
this is what everyone is saying, though. How is he still there?
Oh, it's insane, isn't it?
And it's just thanks to everyone above him just being more inconsistent than him.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. It's just the inconsistencies across the board. And if Ducati have gone shit, we've realised what happened to Aragon last week. We know we can win this week. If all of a sudden, Dovi can win, maybe put Miller and Petrucci on the podium with him, then that's going to give him almost the chunk of points he needs to be right back at the top. This is his last chance saloon, I think, for Dovi. I already don't think he's going to do it, but if he can go out and win and get 2 more Ducatis on the podium with him, then he's still got a good chance. However, if he can't do that this week, it's then done.
Yeah, that's then down to 3 people, 3-horse race.
Yeah.
He's going to have to go big guns if he wants it this weekend. Unless, I don't know, something different happens. We have slightly higher temperatures or something changes. Something works in his favour.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If I was him, I'd be trying to find all the luck I could.
Yeah, that's it.
We'll see. We've only got a few more days to wait.
That's it. It's nearly time. So, right, let's just take a quick break, Steve, and then after that we will dive into talking about Yamaha. So, after the quick break, we are back talking about Yamaha. Yeah, Yamaha, during practice, they were, and qualifying actually, solid, the best factory, I think, they looked all weekend, and it really looked like we were just going to see the three Yamahas on the podium, and they were just going to ride away from everyone.
Absolutely. Everyone had all four Ducati riders in their dream team. Everyone was swapping them out. They looked so good, they could not put a foot wrong.
Yeah.
All qualified pretty well. I said pretty well. All qualified well, bar one. Who wasn't there?
Well, yeah, exactly. The three that were there all qualified on the top two rows. Morbidelli qualified fourth, Quartararo was on pole, and Vinales was on second.
Everything they did just looked like it was going to be a Yamaha triple header.
Yeah, exactly. And it did look, like you say, once again, all three of them on the box, job done. As it happened, the top Yamaha finished fourth. That was Maverick Vinales. Franco Morbidelli finished sixth. And Fabio Quartararo, who went into this as the championship leader, finished in 18th place.
That is insane.
It was a tough weekend, especially for Quartararo, but I think a tough weekend for Yamaha. It just looked so good, and it just did not really pan out as expected.
So I have no idea what changed for all of them, but I was expecting them just to blast off and, we'd be chatting about team orders.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Quartararo obviously suffered those two big crashes in free practice. There's one of those I was watching Saturday morning before qualifying. I remember texting you and being like, fuck, I think Quartararo's out. This isn't good. And that was a big crash. He's in the back of the ambulance and stuff. But he came back and he was fit to race, limping around, but qualified on pole. Happy days.
I somehow put it down there. Literally 2 minutes before that crash, I put him in my dream team. And I was like, you're joking.
And actually, he probably would have been okay in the race if it wasn't for swapping his tyre out at the last minute. So he swapped from the grid as the sun came out, heating the track up. Quartararo's looking at that, thinking, shit, this isn't going to work, right? I'm going to have to take the soft front out and put a medium front in. So he puts the medium front tyre in. Problem is, he'd not run a single lap on the medium front tyre all weekend.
Nope.
And it turns out that they put too much air in the tyre. It just as he then, about 8 laps into the race, the tyre was too hot. The pressure built, and he just had no feel and no grip whatsoever.
No, just went backwards. I did see some shots afterwards of, I believe it was his tyre, and it was just shredded.
Yeah.
It was just, there was slices taken out of it. It just looked bad. And you're thinking, how the hell can you even circulate on that? Even finishing 18th, they're still going at a hell of a pace.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. He still didn't finish last. Yeah, he's out of the points. And part of me thinks, just maybe should have pulled into the pits.
If you're battered and bruised, because he was in 18th or falling down the grid like that for a long, long time.
Yeah, and he was fine, like we say, until lap 8, he was still circulating well. He was well within the top 5, and then it's just all of a sudden, and he just started falling.
And it wasn't like a slow, progressive fall. He was sometimes getting overtaken by like 2 or 3 riders a lap.
Well, a corner in some places.
Well, yeah, in some places it was, a corner. And it was just a sudden drop until he just found a level where he could circulate, which unfortunately, like you say, was out of the points.
Yeah, that's it.
But when you're that bad and bruised, get yourself an early shower.
Yeah, maybe it would have been better. Just don't risk it. You've made the mistake. You know what you need to do next weekend. So, because, lost the championship lead now. He's now 6 points off the championship lead. Can he regain 6 points on Johan Mir in one race? Yeah, I think he probably can.
I'd say so.
Can he
sustain it?
Exactly. Or has he given up too much now?
I think he's probably given up too much, because if you put the two side by side now, I'd pick the Johan Mir.
Yeah, over 4 races, me too.
Yeah.
Over 1 race, I'd probably pick Quartararo, but over 4 races, I think I'd be picking Mir at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Quartararo will probably have the higher results. But when he's not as high, he is really low.
Yeah, but like we say, it's peaks and troughs, isn't it? He's hot and cold.
Yep. But Mir will just be that nice little constant tepid temperature.
Yeah, and that tepid is still pretty warm. Mir's probably the perfect bath temperature right now. He's not going to scold you.
I would say so. No.
But he's going to keep you warm. Keep you warm. I'm going to stop thinking about me getting into a big bath full of Johan Mir now.
Lots of Johan Mir. Do you see on Instagram, he put up the shot of his boot that he completely wore the sole out of?
No, but there was a lot of boot scraping in this race, to be fair.
There was. Yeah, there was a shot on the race day of Johan Mir overtaking someone on the inside, and the smoke coming off his left boot was incredible. I was thinking, Christ, that's got to be hot. And then I saw on Instagram, he held his boot up, and it was just through the rubber.
Wow.
I was just like, whoa, and he's thanking Dane Easy. I was like, yeah.
At what point do you know about that, do you reckon? Where you're just scraping your foot and you're like, oh, that's getting warm. Oh, shit, that's really bad.
It's not like you can pull over and just take it off.
You're like, whoa, there's a hole in my sock.
Yeah. You see a rider go down the track with his foot out the front of the bike, just cooling it off.
Yeah, bloody hell.
Chill that out. That's insane. I would try it on my bike, but if I fear I might snap an ankle.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Yeah, probably.
And I just don't go quick enough.
And I think a road is just much more abrasive than track as well, mate.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, right, let's go on to Maverick Vinales. Qualifying second, like we said. Finished 4th. He wasn't too far off. And actually, I don't know, had really good pace all weekend. And actually, off the line, boom, straight away into the lead. And he pulled a gap. He pulled a decent gap. By the end of lap 1 or 2, I think it might have been the end of lap 1. You're looking at it and thinking, shit, he's going to do this. Yeah, no one's going to catch him now. He's already got, a half a second lead on everyone.
The only thing I thought at that point was, are we going to see a typical Maverick where he's pulled that gap and then someone's going to catch him and then he falls down the order, which he did a little bit, but not quite as much as what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, well, I usually tend to think with Vinales, if he can get that gap at the start and he's not involved in the pack, then usually I think, this is in my head, so maybe I'm wrong, but I usually feel like he can then either win the race or finish very well because he's not having to fight with people. It's only when he gets that bad start and gets mired in the pack, and then it's just people dive bombing him everywhere and he just loses it.
It is the scraps that really seem to play with his style.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's very Lorenzo-esque.
Yeah.
Where if he could hit that front, pull the pin straight away and get to the front, he'd be absolutely fine.
Certainly.
But we rarely see it. I'd love to see a race where he leads from the first corner with a 2-second gap and just see what happens. Just let him go, let him do his thing, and then get a look at his lap times and see how methodical he is.
Yeah.
Because we know as soon as someone goes past him and dusts him up, that's it. He's falling down that ladder like crazy.
Yeah, this is the problem, isn't it, with him? Because he just can't stay with the pack. Not that he can't stay with the pack. He's plenty fast enough to stay with the pack. He can't fight with the pack.
No, he does seem to have this insane inability to not be able to just scrap with the other riders. Whereas we see a lot of them are chopping and changing places. They're flip-flop overtaking each other and lining it up. He just does not seem to be able to do that. And if he tries it, it just trips him up even more. But then other times we see him fight his way through and it just looks like it's all come together.
But that's at the end of the race, isn't it? When he's got good pace. And that's when he can really carve through a field. He can't do it at the start. But he looked good this weekend, like we say. 4th place keeps him in the championship hunt. He's only 12 points off the championship lead, sitting there in 3rd. So actually, got another round at Aragon. We know he's pretty good round there, as we've just seen. The Yamaha we know is pretty good round Valencia. So 2 rounds there. Portimao,
unknown territory.
It's going to be a great race, man.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's move it on to Honda. Honda brought some new parts to this weekend.
Honda bought something new.
Yeah, Honda, they bought, the commentators kept calling it a link. Now,
Yeah,
I don't know what this is, Steve. Do you have any idea?
Normally, a linkage is a binding piece, say, between, what joins the swinging arm to the chassis.
Okay.
So you'd have a linkage there, or it could be a shock mount linkage. Anything really that joins two mechanical pieces together.
Okay, so we don't really know where it
Not
is exactly.
fully.
You know more than me, but I don't.
No, I did try and do some digging to find out exactly which piece it was, but all I could really find out was linkage.
Okay, fair enough.
So, nothing set in stone. Whatever they did definitely worked for one of them.
It certainly did, and not just one of them, to be fair. I feel like it certainly worked for Crutchlow in qualifying. He qualified in 3rd. Taka Nakagami qualified 7th. Alex Marquez qualified 11th, and Stefan Bradl qualified 21st, but I'm sort of over Bradl at this point. But in the race is when it really came to the fore. Crutchlow had a terrible launch and then spent most of the race coming back. It turns out that might have been a clutch issue. Yeah. Nakagami raced a 5th, being the top independent rider, and Alex Marquez scored yet another podium in 2nd place. Stefan Bradl again, I'm over it, but he finished 17th. So the linkage or whatever it is does seem to be working. The bike looked good. It's the first time I've looked at the Honda and been like, shit. I was like, they're turning the Honda underneath people now. Alex Marquez is going underneath the Suzuki. He's turning it tighter than the Suzuki. He's outperforming the Yamaha in the corners. I'm like, this is not the Repsol Honda that we know. Like, what has happened here? And
whatever they stuck in that bike just worked.
It really did. It really did.
Sorry, mate.
It's okay. I was about to go off topic from the link, so you go.
Go for it. We haven't gone off topic yet today.
I wasn't going to get that far off topic, to be fair. So Crutchlow, I've lost it now, so we'll just go into Crutchlow.
Right. Poor old Crutchlow.
Yeah, terrible start, man. It wasn't great. The actual launch was okay, but he did apparently afterwards say that he had the clutch was slipping, causing him a lot of problems. And then so nearly wiped out on that start finish straight, like off the line by Miller. So close.
That was, scary close.
And that would have been, right at the front of that group as well if he'd have gone down there. Whew. Yeah,
carnage.
Don't want to think about what could have happened there.
See, that's my race prediction for next week.
I don't want Miller wiping out Crutchlow and just causing a shitstorm.
Not necessarily those two, but that kind of incident where you're right at the front.
Yeah, that's the thing. But this wasn't even a corner, was it? This was on the start finish straight.
Yeah, this was just literally off the line. Just like you say, Crutchlow had such a poor start. Everyone was closing on him rapidly.
Yeah,
and Miller was just there.
Miller just wiped across the front of him. But Miller was pushed across the front of him, to be fair, by Morbidelli.
Yeah, so it's jostling. We see it all the time. The first few corners, they're all jostling for places.
Oh, yeah, certainly. It's nothing nefarious. It's just, it is what it is. If you don't get the good launch, you end up getting screwed over by that.
Yeah, but that's a shame because Crutchlow looked so good. And it looked like he was back after his injuries. He found something. Just to have that bad luck, it's like, oh, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, that's it.
Although he didn't crash.
He didn't crash, and I'm quietly confident that he's going to be able to do a repeat performance next weekend. So I would not be surprised to see him mixing up at the front.
I'd love to see him further up the field, if not pushing for a podium.
Yeah.
So I think that bike, if it's exactly the same this weekend, that bike's got it in it.
Yeah, well, we know that bike's got it in it, don't we? So yeah, and even his teammate Taka Nakagami riding the 2019 bike, like we say, he's top independent rider, finished in 5th. Just another example of him just going about his business, doing his job, doing what he needs to do.
5th is becoming quite a sort of almost standard position for Taka.
Yeah,
considering the results he was having, we're sort of like, Taka was 5th.
Yeah, that's it. It's a significant improvement, I think, and he's just, if he makes another step next year, he'll be knocking on the door of the podium quite regularly.
Exactly. We know he's staying put, and another one to watch next year.
Yeah, that's it. Stefan Bradl, I've said I
Your
don't
face,
care.
Stefan Bradl.
Well, yeah, I'm very over him. And when we consider what all of the other Honda riders have done this weekend, the fact that he finished 17th just shows that he's just not got the pace, has he? The question is, do we think Honda need to find another solution, or are Honda's improvements, that clearly the steps they've made recently, are they down to the fact they've got their test rider circulating and doing so many miles at the moment?
That's, tough question. Very tough question. You'd have to go with the fact that they've got the test rider circulated to find solutions. That's what he's there to do. Essentially, he is a test rider and he's just standing in for Marc Marquez. But what do? You know that seat's gone next year because Marc's back, or potentially back soon. Get him out there finding solutions for the other riders. We know he's not going to win races, and if he's out there testing something which gives him an edge and all of a sudden he's in 4th, 5th, happy days. But use it. Use it as testing time. Get him finding solutions. Whether that is what has happened and, he's come up with something, he's found a linkage or whatever it is that has just worked. Happy days. Obviously, it hasn't worked for him.
No, that's a very good point. Because, actually, that is a very good point you raise. If it was down to him being there and circulating and making the difference, you'd also think he'd be improving. But maybe it's that he's just having new parts thrown at him all the time and he's not being given a chance to perform.
Could well be. We've seen it before, haven't we, with, was it KTM in testing? Where they turned up with an absolute truckload of stuff and made no improvements because the bike was probably 100% different every time it went out on track.
Yeah.
Hard to tell. Really, really hard question, that one, without sitting down with someone from Honda and saying, look, what's going on? We can only speculate. I would say it's a 50-50 mix of probably feedback from Bradl and Honda coming up with a solution themselves.
Yeah.
And just finding something that's worked, because it's clearly very mixed feelings or very mixed results, and it's just worked for someone else.
Yeah, that's it. And that someone else is Alex Marquez, like we say, finishing 2nd place in this race. Again, proving that he deserves to be on the MotoGP grid. After last week in Le Mans and that wet podium, I know I was like, I told you Alex Marquez was going to get a podium this year, blah, blah, blah. I was spouting off about my early predictions. Fuck, man, I didn't really expect him to go and do it in the dry, though.
We said last week he needs to now do it in the dry. We said those exact words. You can listen to the pod back, and we said, right, do it now in dry conditions under a normal race scenario, and he comes out and does it.
Yeah.
So I maintain he was listening. I'm taking that one. He had a little listen and was like, right, fuck you two. Watch this. But nah, man, did he look good.
Yeah, really good.
He, like you said, turning that thing any which way he wanted. Point, shoot, go, looked good. Fastest on track for a long time.
Yeah, really quick. And carving under everyone. He just made the Honda look rideable. It's the first time I've looked at the Honda in years and been like, wow, that bike looks nice. It looks like a nice handling bike. It's not snapping all over the place. It's not making the Marc Marquez shapes and, sliding it and backing it into every corner. It's just smooth, drifting around. It was drifting out of corners, to be fair.
Yes.
But even that looked under control and that looked really sweet.
It actually looked very Suzuki-esque.
Oh, yeah, it was nothing that I've seen. Alex Marquez made that Honda do things that I've not seen anyone else do with Honda before. No,
not for a long time. Which poses the question, if that's how Honda are developing the bike now, how is Marc Marquez going to get on it when he comes back?
Oh, I'm convinced he'll just be able to ride the wheels off it anyway.
Yeah, he'll probably just hop on it and be like, what have you done? All right, watch this.
He'll probably hop on it and be like, God, you've done some good work on this, and they just go half a second faster than everyone else anyway.
Yeah, probably. He'll just come in and be like, can we just tweak this just a little tiny bit? Perfect, let's go. Whew, lap record.
Yeah, that's it. Put a hard front tyre on it, let's go.
Yeah, give it some beans, lovely jubbly.
Yeah, that would be it.
But I don't know, if I was HRC, I'd be stood in the background now going, is there any way we could put Pole at LCR?
Yeah, what do the contracts look like? Can we move them about?
Yep, you'd have a whole team around the desk go find that loophole.
God, yeah, you would, wouldn't you? And I would be livid. While I don't think that's the right decision yet, because I do think Alex Marquez, we know, much like his brother, is very good on Aragon as well. Yes, so I think this isn't really a fair representation. And actually, I'm pretty sure he's quite good at Valencia. So we're really not going to see the level of improvement until we get to Portimao. Is going to be very interesting, because Portimao is going to be a completely level playing field. No one's been there before, really. No one's going to have a clue. So when he gets there, then we'll really see what how much he's improved.
Yes. I'm so happy he's had these results, because at the start of the season, he got some real shit on social media. People say he didn't deserve the ride. It's only to please his brother. Whatever. And they demoted him, if you will, before he'd even turned a wheel in anger.
Yeah, that's it. After 3 tests, they're like, right, that's pretty much it. You're down to LCR next year.
Yeah. I would have been absolutely livid if I was him. Anyone who's got the capability to ride a MotoGP bike professionally and get into MotoGP deserves their chance to prove themselves. Yeah. In my eyes, anyway. And the people that say it right, yep, perfect way. Honda are just correcting their mistake, if you will. That would have just thrown fuel on my fire and been right. Hold my beer.
Yeah, quite.
Let's wind this fucker up and show you what I can do. And I'm so glad he's had these results, because he's proven now, although it's only, should we say, a flash in the pan, and like we said, he's got to get to Portimao, prove himself properly. He's done it already. Yeah. He's had a wet weather podium, he's had a dry weather podium, and he's looked feisty. Yeah,
that's it. And let's not forget, there is a universe in which Alex Marquez wins this championship.
There is.
So, I did have a thought, actually, when there was a moment where Alex Marquez went up the inside of Dovi, and I could just imagine Dovi thinking, for fuck's sake, another Marquez on a Repsol Honda overtaking me.
Yeah, I think in Italian, of course.
Yes.
I don't know what the Italian, for fuck's sake, is, but something along that line. I would have been so angry to see a Repsol go past me. Even worse if it had been Bradle.
I mean, that's a fair point.
I think I would have just pulled over and parked it.
I'm done.
Yeah, fuck this. Where's my suitcase? I'm off. But yeah, he'll be back. Whatever happens, Alex Marquez will be back on the Repsol Honda bike.
I'm pretty convinced he will, yeah. I don't know how long Pole's contract is on that bike, but yeah.
Let's assume it's 2 years. I think it's only 1, but let's assume it's 2 years. There'll be clauses. Let's say Pole doesn't do that well. There'll be loopholes. There'll be ways around it. But even if he gets the 2 years, if Alex Marquez carries on this kind of form at LCR, he'll be back. He'll be straight back in there, no questions.
Yeah, I think you are 100% right on that. It's the changing of the guard, isn't it?
It is the change of the guard. And people have said before, people have come out and said Alex Marquez, I think even Marco Marquez has said it, that Alex is a better rider than Marc Marquez.
I think Marc Marquez might be the only person that's ever said that, to be fair.
Really?
Yeah, I think everyone's just quoted Marc Marquez on that. But yeah, Marc Marquez certainly spent a lot of his career saying that Alex Marquez is a better rider than he is. But it's just never been shown before. And let's be fair, I mean, Marc Marquez won his second ever MotoGP race, or third, I think it was at the time, MotoGP race. Alex Marquez is 10 races in and 2 podiums. So, I mean, they're not comparable results. Marc Marquez had won a championship in his first year. Alex Marquez is probably not going to do that.
No.
So they're certainly not comparable yet. But Alex Marquez is certainly, at the moment, sticking his finger up to all the naysayers.
Exactly. Good on him. Hope he does it again this weekend.
Yeah, that's it. And if he does, it does bring him closer to the top of the table. So it will be fun. I would fucking love it if he finishes within, like, if he gets to Portimao still with a shot at the title. I would love it.
That'd be insane. That's doable, though. Very doable.
Well, that's the ridiculous thing with this year, isn't it? Is it's doable for a lot of people.
I'd love to be in that paddock. I'd love for us to be in that paddock and just hear what... Because we're only amateurs. We do this for fun. What all the professionals who study this year in, all the analytics who study this all the time, think about what's going on. Because to me, it's just the best thing ever.
Yeah, that's fair.
I absolutely love it. What a year.
That's it. Right, let's bring it on to Suzuki. Another double podium. So it's 2 double podiums in 3 rounds for Suzuki. It didn't. I mean, Johan Mir qualified in 6th, which is one of his best qualifying results of the season, and Alex Rins qualified in 10th. I really thought with the 6th place that Mir could win this race, or was certainly going to get a podium. He did get the podium, finished in 3rd. Alex Rins was the Suzuki to win the race.
All through the weekend, all through qualifying and practice, was just this week's grey man. He was just circulating.
Yeah, that's it. He kind of, that 10th place qualifying, I was like, oh, this, maybe a top 6 is possible, depending on what goes on in front of him. It was Mir I was looking at, and from 6th place on the grid, Mir is like a solid shout for this race win.
Yeah, I think in my head I had Rins somewhere around the top 5, and I was like, Mir's got to be pushing for a podium.
Yeah.
Where the hell Rins came from was just incredible. Off the line like an absolute missile.
It was an incredible launch, an incredible opening lap, and then Rins was just there, ready to just, like, as soon as Quartararo, he got through Quartararo quite easily, and then just started reeling in Maverick, and got past and just didn't look back.
No, not at all. Just rode a inch-perfect race.
Yeah, it was really good, really good. And it came very close, actually, not even winning. If Alex Marquez hadn't have made that small mistake on the penultimate lap, I'm pretty sure Alex Marquez would have won the race. But
I think so, because he was so much quicker and looked so much better at that point.
Yeah.
One little bobble just cost him that race win and gave it to Rins.
Yeah.
So I actually wonder if Rins watched like any of that footage back that last lap and realised how close he potentially came to losing the win.
I don't think he cares, because at the end of the day, he's not the one that made the mistake, is he? He rode a perfect race. It was the others around him that fucked up, and he picked up the pieces because of it and took the win. And
got the rubber weird trophy.
The bloody Michelin trophy. We'll get onto those in a moment, I think, because and it is a shame for Rins that he got hurt at the start of the season, because if he'd been performing all year, he was the championship favourite. It shouldn't be Mir there. It should be Rins.
Where is Rins? He's in 7th on 85 points.
Yeah, exactly. So again, like we've just said, there's still a universe in which he wins this title. So
yeah, the stars could align. There's a lot more stars in his universe than some, but
exactly,
they could do it. I just look at that table and thinking, my God, that is tight.
The whole thing's tight, man. And yeah, Mir should have won this race. I don't know why he did. Well, he got stuck behind Jack Miller, didn't he, off the start? He didn't really get the launch he needed
for a long time.
But he should have been, with that qualifying position, I think he should have been the guy that should have been there to take the win.
Yeah.
But as it wasn't, he wasn't. Or as it is, he wasn't. And just is what it is, isn't it?
He got on the podium. He is leader of the championship.
That's it.
Absolutely take it. Be happy.
Yeah, and he also got one of those horrible trophies.
What the fuck is that all about?
Mate, I was looking at the trophy and I was like, I don't even know what is possibly going on here. Why is this trophy just got a load of life rings around it? And it was only when the commentators were like, well, this is the Michelin Grand Prix. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, they've designed the trophy after the Michelin man.
To me, I saw the first one and I was like, has someone nicked the trophies? And like Dave from engineering has just knocked something up quick.
Yeah, he's like, I got some polystyrene. Got fucking whack that on there. That'll do.
I just, come on. There are some fabulous, fabulous trophies that get handed out every year. I mean, look at Phillip Island's wheel.
Yeah.
I would steal one of them. I would hunt one down and steal it. The Le Mans one, the sketch of the track.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
They're my favourite ones, the track outline ones.
Yeah.
I love those trophies.
Or the Texas Bullhorns.
Ooh. I'm not a fan of that. That's a bit gimmicky to me.
I just like it. I think that's proper yeehaw.
I hate sponsor trophies, like the Michelin one, and I hate gimmicky trophies. I like the classic, like just the chalice trophy, or like the steering wheel trophy, or the track layout trophies. They're my favourite ones.
Yeah, I do like a bit of weird chucked in there, but now this thing, I would be on the way out the track, like, fuck it, here you go, bin that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, because I would be taking it home and putting it in my trophy cabinet, but I wouldn't.
At the back.
At the back, I mean, if I've only got one trophy, Steve, the back is the front, so I will be, if I get one trophy in my life, I will be displaying it no matter how bad it is. However, if I had multiple trophies, yes, it would certainly be at the back somewhere. And if I was like Valentino Rossi and I got that trophy, it'd probably be in the garage, to be fair.
I was going to say, that would be in the loft, not even wrapped up, just like open the hatch, lob it in, shut the hatch, go.
That would be my ashtray, probably.
I thought that a minute ago, actually. I was thinking, that would sit, that little bowl on the top, I could put that on the coffee table. Not that we condone smoking. We don't at all. Don't do it. Just if you do it, just make sure you pass it.
I like that, Steve. That's like your public service announcement for the day.
Yes, yeah. I had to have one at work today as well. I was telling a young lad off not wearing his face mask while we were grinding some very hazardous stuff, and I went all daddy on him.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and then I realised he was like, oh.
And you should be like, in this day and age, son, you should be wearing a face mask all the time.
I gave it the full ball when I was your age and I started work, and then it struck. I was like, oh, it's happened.
Oh dear. I feel like you haven't used that line on me yet, Steve, but there will be a day where it happens and it's going to upset me.
It probably will. It will happen. It's like, Tim, when I was your age. All those years ago.
Oh, it wasn't that long ago. Right, anyway, that I think pretty much brings us to the end, doesn't it?
I think so. No doubt we'll have lots more to talk about after this weekend.
Oh, I'm certain we will. We did have a question, Steve, from someone. I don't actually know who this question was from, so I can't name them.
Did we?
Yes, it was about being nominated for the British Podcast Awards. No, we were not nominated for the British Podcast Awards. We don't have anywhere near the following, and I don't think you can nominate yourself for that. We rely on our listeners to nominate us for those, I believe. But again, yes. I don't actually know that because I've not looked into it. So
I have absolutely no idea. I didn't even, until that came through, I had no idea there was such a thing.
See, I knew there was a thing, but to be honest, I've never really looked into it because I feel like we are probably not award worthy. Not that I don't think we create great content. I just don't think that really awards suit me.
If we were to go to an award ceremony, I could just see us being like the geezers out of Dumb and Dumber with their suits when they go to the old.
Mate, the problem is we'd turn up, it'd be London's, you'd have to go to London to start with, we'd turn up early, and I'd be like, what should we do, Steve? And we'd go for a pint. And then we'd be 8 pints deep before we even stumble into the bloody place. We're just going to embarrass ourselves.
Well, we do that anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like a standard podcast.
Just embarrassing ourselves to the world. As our loyal listeners, you guys are fully aware that we embarrass ourselves on a regular basis. But no, we weren't nominated for British Podcast Awards. Probably never will be. Not really all that sad about it, to be honest. I'd much rather, once this whole Corona thing's over and done with, rather than the Podcast Awards, we just have a podcast meetup where anyone in, I don't know, the UK, I guess, we'll just arrange a time and a place and we just go out and get leathered.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, and if no one turns up, it's just me and Steve.
We'll just get hammered somewhere. We'll pick a spot. We'll just go get hammered.
Yeah, that's it. We'll just let you. We'll do it somewhere central. So we'll go hit the Midlands or something.
Yeah, where's nice? Go Cambridge.
Okay, Cambridge isn't quite the Midlands.
No, but I'm just not thinking that's near us. And,
near to us, so make everyone else travel. Anyway, if any of you guys have any questions or anything, any MotoGP related questions, or are we going to be nominated for any awards type questions, then you can fire those off too.
We are For the Love of MotoGP, and you can find us on Instagram and Twitter, or email us at fortheloveofmotogp@gmail.com.
Oh, Steve, you are getting good at that. 3 weeks in a row, I think.
Is that 3 on the bounce?
I think
it
so.
was close, though. It was very close.
I know, I did hear that.
Yeah. I had to, there was a little, if you listen back, there was a pause in there.
That's fine. Right, so, before we go, let's just run through the Fantasy League quickly, because there has been a few swaps.
There's been a few movers and shakers.
We'll start at the bottom as per usual, and 11th place is Chuji, 10th, Alex Rinso Antinoda, 9th place is Mummy Racer, 8th place is 47 Riders, 7th place is still me, 6th place is Caballero Cruzado, 5th place is Big Al Racing. Now, Steve, you have made quite a big jump in the last round.
I've gone for scoring the least points, the most points.
Yes, you certainly have, actually. And actually, let's drop back to Big Al Racing for a moment here if we're going to start talking points, because it's getting pretty tight at the top here.
It is.
Big Al Racing there in 5th place is sitting on 864 points.
Yes.
Steve, you are then in 4th place with 865 points.
Yep.
Mission Now Win, who was crushing it at the top for a long time, has dropped to 3rd place now, only scoring 65 points in the last round, for a total of 876.5 points. Steve, you're only 11.5 points away from the podium here.
I know, mate. I'm going to have it.
Rapid Racing in 2nd place is on 882.5 points, and now storming into the lead at the top is Sassy Chassis Lassie on 903 points, having scored 92.5 points in that last round, and the only person to score more points than that was you, Steve, scoring 96.5. So after I joked about not telling you my lineup changes that I was going to make for this weekend, it looks like you did a better job at it than I did.
I realised something the other day, like, every single race, I've always had either a DNF rider or someone who's finished outside the points.
Did you have Quartararo this week?
I did.
And you still managed to outscore everyone in our league.
I had to use one of my boosts.
Ah, clever. Good use of the boost, my friend. That was a good shout.
Boost. I put that on Morbidelli.
Smart. I like that. So, if any of you have got boosts left, Steve is now tactically using his in these last few rounds, so it'll be time to keep pushing.
I have been saving them. I thought I'm going to sit on them for a bit. We'll see what happens. I should have bloody put it on Mir, but there we go.
Oh, that's always next week, mate. Mir's, I'm calling it now. Mir's going to get his first win next week. He's not going to be the champion without a win.
No. I'd be very surprised if he does get that trophy without the win, but we will see. Yeah,
we will see. I'm going to call him as my winner for Aragon too. Anyway, I think that brings us to the end of the show, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Please do let us know if there's been any problems with the show. We've just swapped over hosts for the podcast, which should, in theory, make no difference to you guys, except you might be hearing ads now. The ads are kind of becoming a necessary evil. We do have to pay to host the podcast, and we've done so for the last few years. But it's not expensive, but it is money, and in this time, having spare money is not an easy thing. So we have had to install some ads into the show, and it is just covering that. We're not going to be loaded from this, I promise. Even if we have our meetup at some point, probably not going to be buying around. So
bring some cash.
Bring some cash. But let us know if there has been any problems with downloading the shows, any problems with listening to the shows, because there might be for the next couple of weeks, and I've just got to work through those issues as they arise. So thanks for putting up with the ads. Thanks for putting up with us. And thanks for listening. We will speak to you guys next time after Aragon 2. So have a good race weekend. Goodbye.
Take care, guys.
Music is by Andrew Greenwood. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.